Hey, Spence C, it's February the 2nd, and this is how to make it in the music industry if you're over 50, like me. Welcome to this challenge. I am, I'm Spence, I'm a musician, entrepreneur, and experimenter. I am seeing how to grow a YouTube channel in real time. And also, I'm growing my Threads account. I'm doing a 50 in 50 if you're over 50 challenge. So that's 50 videos in 50 days and 50 posts. So you can join here straight away. If you want to start today, that's great. If you want to go back and you want to do 2 today to make up for starting yesterday, because it starts in February, but we're doing 50 days henceforth. Does that make sense? Probably not. Anyway, so today is how to make it in the music industry if you're over 50. Now, first things first, I'm not saying I have made it in the sense I'm a global pop sensation household name, but there's different versions, and I think this is the first thing you have to look at if you're over 50, especially if you're starting out over 50. If you're restarting, or if you're still in the music industry and you happen to be at 50 and you've already got momentum and stuff, this is probably more for people who are starting or restarting than people who are already at it. However, you might get some out of this. Hopefully you'll get some juice out of it, and if you do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below, yes, I'm all in for the 50-50 challenge, something like that. Comment for that, 50-50, that'll do. So how to make it in the music industry if you're over 50 is, well, first things first, I would say that it's about knowing what making it is for you, because everyone's like, making it, it's so nebulous. It's such a sort of bullshit term in a lot of ways, because making it could mean a lot of things to different people. But if you're over 50, I'm assuming maybe you've got, you might be at this point. There's probably 2 points that you're in your life. You're either at the point where you've always been a bachelor, you're still single, you haven't got any family ties or anything like that. You've got plenty of disposable income. Maybe you worked in the services, in the fire service, or the police, and you've got a pension, and you've got time on your hands, and you want to, start this dream that maybe you put on ice when you were in your 20s, when you started a family, and maybe you started your family young, and now all your kids have flown the nest and you're on your own. Maybe you got divorced, maybe you got made redundant from a job, you got some money to play with, and you want to have a go at this music lark. So already, the financial bed is there. It's not about necessarily making it financially. It's more about getting your art out there. So that's one view of it. The other view could be you are, maybe you started your family late. Maybe you're like me, you're a family guy at middle age, and you've got very little time on your hands, and you want to sort of do music that way. So either way, you pick which one. Hello? Just finishing a video off. Okay, can you give me 5 minutes? Okay. So I would say, if you are starting out, first of all, I've got a kind of a formula, a template. So O is own. First of all, you've got to own your list, own your media as much as possible, own your IP. What does that mean? Intellectual property. So if you're starting out, or if you're restarting, if you've already started, I would say, yes, use YouTube, use TikTok, use all the social media you can, because it's free. However, don't just use it at that level. Get people to subscribe to your email list. And, this is true. It was true 20 years ago. It's true now, that email is the best way of staying in touch with your audience, and because you own it. Yes, you might have to pay a monthly fee to MailChimp or whatever if you get over a certain amount of subscribers, but that's kind of small fry in the grand scheme of things. So that's the first thing you want to do, is set up an email list kind of thing and get people to sign up. Even if you're just, like I say, you're in the latter stages, the latter example I gave you, and you're just doing like an open mic a week or something, that maybe the only time you can spare is a couple of hours a week, and you're doing a couple of gigs here and there, you know, even if you're just getting 2 new people on your mailing list a week, that adds up over time. And it's not about having a mailing list of thousands of people and tens of thousands of people, although that's obviously the goal. But if you are nurturing that list and you're building up connections with your fans as you go along, those fans can start to sustain you as you're growing. So that's the first thing I would say, is own your email list and own your intellectual property. Let's say you got into a record deal and you signed away all your rights, all the masters and everything. That's not a great position to be in. You might say, well, I'm not earning anything off it anyway, and something's better than nothing. But I would say, in the long run, if you want this to be a bit of a long run thing, if you want it to be sustainable, then you need to sort of own that as well. Own your masters. Don't sign anything away unless there's a very good reason, unless you've gone through it and reasoned it out, maybe with a lawyer and something. Don't just sort of sign things away on a whim, because you're better than that. You're not a sort of a naive 16-year-old. You're 50, you've got life experience, so you put it to good use. So that's what the first thing I would say is own it. And the second is P. So it spells open, this acronym. So O is open. P is play live as much as you can. You might say, oh, Spence, I'm a DJ, or I'm a bedroom producer, I'm just a songwriter, I'm not a singer. Doesn't matter. You've got to get out there live. So obviously, if you're a live artist, that means playing open mics. They're great places to start. And I always suggest people start your own open mic, because then you're going to be the host. You're always going to get play. You're always going to be. You always got a stage to play at. You can curate the evening as to who you want to play with, and the community comes to you. You're not trying to plug into a community. You get your own community. And I've done it myself over the years, and it's been a great way of doing all those things, getting some money, building your live chops, and meeting new people. You get to meet a whole community, and you get to start projects and collaborations, and it just, everyone supports each other. If you've got the time to do it. The other good thing about open mics is content as well. You can film it, and you can film the people who come along and give that to them. They could buy it off you, or you could do it as a sort of give them a clip of something, and then they could buy the rest. So it could be like a little enterprise. You could live stream it, and then that obviously helps the venue that you're doing the open mic at. It helps them bring people in, and it raises their profile. So everybody wins with that model. So playing live is great. Busking, I go on about this all the time because it's just so easy to do. You just get out on the street in front of people. You don't have to get a crowd to come to you. You go to them and just play. And there you go. You start off simple. I started off with just a guitar and a case, started playing it, and I started to make some money, and people were starting to get interested and ask me questions, and the offers came in for different things. That was the first time I busked. I was getting offers and money coming in. So I can't recommend that enough. And I've got my book in the description down below, Busking for Beginners. You can get on that. And it's got a lot of tips in there as well. So busking's great to get out there. Even if you're, a DJ, or a producer, you can still do that. I've seen a guy on TikTok, and he's just sets up in London somewhere, and he's just got his decks out and he's playing along, and people come along and they're emceeing, and he's live streaming it, and it's just blown up, So don't think it has to be traditional, just standing there with a guitar, singing. You can make it how you want to do. And there's loads of great examples on Facebook and YouTube of people doing busking and really filming it in a really cool way, getting people to, passers-by to join in, creating viral moments, because there's always somebody who steps up to the mic who's just like a normal office worker who's got like an incredible voice, and then those kind of things just go viral, So, and then you see these videos where, a celebrity or a musician, famous musicians, walking down the street, and they see someone singing their song, and they start to join in, and then they get asked to play with them on the night where they getting them up on stage on the gig that they're playing that night. And it's just all these kind of magical things can happen when you're busking. So that is a great thing to do as well. And of course, gigs, you can get your own gigs, or you can just, put your own gigs on, it's easy to do. you're over 50, you know, you should have some chutzpah, some moxie, as I say. And so that's P. So E is engage, obviously engage with the fans. Like I said, even if they're trickling in, make sure you engage with them, get their names, get to know them personally, what they like, you know, and develop that list. So whenever you get in a new gig, you invite them along and give them some special perks for being on the list and all this kind of stuff. So treat them well, and they will obviously, that will compound, because they'll tell friends, and you know, and eventually you'll start to build up a fan base slowly and surely and organically. And then finally N, which is network. You know, networking is a great way of just meeting people, and it doesn't have to be going to official networking events. It just means wherever, whichever gig you go to, you talk to people there. You know, talk to the staff, talk to the door staff, talk to the bar staff, talk to the manager, talk to the bands, talk to the audience, talk to everybody and get to know them. You know, and so they get to know you, and then you get to be top of mind when certain conversations are going on. And it's like that even if you go into a music store or anything music related. Just get talking to people, or even if it's not music related, you know, if people on the bus, people in hotels, people in shops, just start little conversations. You don't know who you're standing next to a lot of the time. You don't know what things lead to what. And, you know, in the music business especially, it's all about who you know, and it might not yield results straight away, but I've had conversations which, you know, 2 or 3 years later have led to massive things, you know. And so sowing these seeds every day, being interested in engaging with people around you, and not just going, hey, I'm a musician, listen to my stuff. You're just talking as a normal person, and then eventually it will come out that you do music, and they might do music, and then it starts to happen organically. So don't be pushy about it. And again, this is an advantage. If you're over 50, then you've probably got a lot more, you're probably a bit more comfortable in your skin than the average sort of 20-year-old who's doesn't know how to engage with people, who's on the autism spectrum, you know, and just hides away in the bedroom and can only communicate online. You know, you've got old-fashioned communication skills going for you. You know, you're probably better at conversation than most people who are a lot younger than you. So that's where age can be a great advantage. So this is the maybe this is a part one. So how to make it in the music industry if you're over 50, part one maybe. So that's the first thing. It's the open network, and I'll put it all down in the description so you can look at it. And of course, it goes without saying, within that, it's working on your art, working on your music, and building your sort of your voice. And we'll talk about that. Yeah, let's do a part two. We'll talk about that in part two, about how to actually create the music. This is the structure open is the structure you do it, and how to then go about finding out who you are as an artist, and who you can how you can market your music to people. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit all the buttons. I like button hitting. And I will see you again tomorrow. And remember, rejection is just correction. Ridicule is fuel, and resilience leads to brilliance. You got this. See you tomorrow.